If you're getting into EDC, it's really easy to fall in the trap of buying expensive gear. But what if I told you that for $200 total, you can build a complete everyday carry setup with a knife, light, multi-tool wallet, and a PryBar that can handle almost everything, all without breaking the budget? So let's go over the rules for this challenge. We need 5 core items: a wallet, a knife, either folding or fixed, a flashlight, a multi-tool, and a PryBar. And the big rule is everything has to come in under $200 total. Now, a few quick searches on Amazon will bring up tons of cheap EDC gear you can use for something like this. But I didn't just want to have the cheapest stuff I could find. I wanted gear that's actually good enough that I would carry it myself. And fortunately, I think I found some really solid options. Best of all, this entire setup came in even under budget. Starting out with the cheapest item, we have our wallet. I'm a big fan of handmade leather wallets, as you can feel the craftsmanship and love poured into them, but unfortunately, our budget doesn't really allow for one of those wallets today. Instead, I found this sleeper hit on Amazon. This is just a really simple, slim front pocket wallet with 7 different slots, and it even came with a lanyard. I sacrificed the large lanyard, instead just added this small paracord lanyard just to make it a little bit easier to pull out of the pocket. This is RFID blocking, so all your cards are protected, and it's made of this really strong, durable nylon. It has plenty of slots for cards or cash, and still maintains a very thin profile. Now the best part is, this only put me back $8. Just $8. I could easily spend a few more dollars here, but this works without issue, and I'd even use this wallet while traveling due to the RFID capability. So with our wallet on the board, we can now see our budget drop to $192. Up next is probably everyone's favorite, and that's the knife. Where I saved a few bucks on the wallet, I blew it all on the knife. This is the Wixco Drax, and it's one of my favorite crossbar locks under the $100 mark. Choosing a knife for this challenge is extremely personal, as all have their own different tastes. For me, I really gravitate towards crossbar locks, as it's just extremely fidgety and safer to close as your fingers are out of the path of the blade. I've already owned a Drax, and I really enjoyed it, so I picked this one up for the category. And as the rest of the loadout is a little bit budget focused, I wanted to splurge a little bit on the knife, and I decided on this one. Featuring these kind of wild blue carbon fiber handles and a blade steel 14C28N, this is a rather solid EDC pick. It is very fun, fidgety crossbar lock, really nice action, and just has a very neutral, Benchmade bug-out-like look, which I really like. Unfortunately, this comes in with a price tag of $95, so our budget takes a big hit and drops down to only $97. Every loadout needs a multi-tool, and this is no different. As our budget doesn't really allow for a full-size Leatherman, at least a good one, I decided to spring for the Victorinox Rambler. This is honestly one of my favorite Swiss Army knives, as it's extremely small and compact, yet packed with features. You get a really small knife blade, a Phillips driver and bottle opener, a flathead and a file, and then a pair of really usable scissors. This is just a really small tool, but it's ever so mighty. The best part is this is only $22. I did go ahead and swap the scales for these aftermarket 3D printed ones, but I won't count that towards the budget. With this hit, this now brings our budget to $75. Up next is arguably the most important thing I carry every day, and it's a flashlight. If you watch the channel, this pick should come as no surprise, but we're again going to go with the Menker E052 here. This is my most used flashlight, and honestly probably my most used tool in general. I really love this model. It's extremely simple, no crazy UI to remember or cycle through modes. Just a simple low, a high, and a turbo, and best of all, it packs a crazy amount of light for its small size. I believe this puts out around 1300 lumens, and it seems to never run out of juice. It comes with a really small rechargeable 14400 battery that can be charged up by a USB-C. The only negatives of this light is that the tail cap is not magnetic, and the pocket clip ships very tight. It is not two-way reversible, so you can't mount this on the brim of a hat. Other than that, this flashlight is absolutely incredible. It's also an insane value at only $27. So now our budget is down to $48. Shockingly enough, we're left with almost $50 left. So let's blow it on something controversial. Enter the Vosteed Shark Bomb PryBar. Before we go into this, I think spending this amount of money is a little bit silly, but since we have it, let's go out in style. I was never big into PryBars, and I'm still not the biggest fan, but it's hard to deny that this thing is pretty cool. Made out of one piece of solid titanium, it's rather lightweight, and it features a really cool anodized fishbone pattern. This also has a deep carry wire pocket clip, which makes it extremely easy to drop in the pocket. This also has a small bottle opener, which I can confirm works pretty well. This is definitely just something extra, but since we had it in the budget, I thought might as well. This thing is also kind of surprisingly pricey at $40, so our budget is now just $8. Looking at all this gear, it's a little bit crazy to think this all came in under the $200 mark. We have a really usable wallet with RFID blocking, a great name brand multi-tool in the Victorinox Rambler, a premium looking knife with gorgeous looking scales, a powerhouse of a flashlight, and even a titanium PryBar. What's even crazier is you can put together a setup like this for probably half the cost. Quality gear doesn't need to be expensive, it just has to work. I myself fall into the trap of looking for the next best thing, and it's often at the expense of my bank account. Yet it doesn't have to be that way, as you can put together an honestly quality and serviceable setup like this without breaking the bank. I'd be curious to know what kind of setup you guys would do with $200 and see how much it would differ from mine. Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, like and subscribe, as I have so much more planned here in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.